Welcome to 316 Podcast. I am your host, Rochelle. Sorry, I had to stress the Rochelle because people keep spelling my name wrong and it's very irritating because you don't know how to spell my name. Pack it in, man. You can clearly see how my name is spelled and people just spell it any and anyhow. It's literally been spelled every way you could imagine. And it's just very irritating. So I feel like I'm having to change the pronunciation so people can spell it correctly. But anyways, let's move on. Let's start positively. Yes? Right. So, in this last month, it's just been very... I don't even have a word for it, but I just feel so out of touch and almost I'm just blah. That's the best way I can explain it. And I get into this kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like a state where I just go numb and it's almost like I'm just floating. I'm just kind of going with the wind sort of thing. And I don't really like that state because then I tend to kind of close off and I can be very cold and not the nicest Rochelle. No, or not the kindest, I should say. Because, yeah, we'll get into that another time. But kindest, let's use the word kindest. I cannot be the kindest Rochelle. So, and then, I just don't like that state because it's a state, it's almost like I've given up, but in a way that is just do you know the best way to explain this? You know, what's that film called? Oh, Lord, please bring it to my remembrance. The film where it's all the emotions and basically there's sad, there's happy. So do you remember sad? Well, you might not remember, but sad, she's kind of ooh, and just that's how the state is that I kind of feel when I feel numb. It's just kind of like someone dragging you along rather than you walking along and applying and doing it willingly. That's the best way I can explain it. I bet you the name of the film is going to come to me later. Oh, that's so annoying. But anyways, let's move on. So yeah, and that's just kind of the state I've been in. And when I get there, it's almost as if it just feels like a battle. I literally feel like I'm fighting spiritually because it's my flesh wants to do this, but my spirit wants to do that. But it feels even more tiresome now because of the actual state that I'm in. So it feels even more tiresome. It feels even more burdensome. It feels even just more, just like I'm being attacked even more. And it's just it's a lot. It is a lot. And I'm trying to not allow myself, but you know what, I notice this happens every time I start something new because I'm always really excited about it and I'm just kind of very just enthusiastic, and then this state starts to come. It's so weird. Well, it's not weird because I know it's the enemy, but at the same time it's stop, just leave me alone. Go away, man. But I'm trying to learn even so and trying to make it a habit that even when I do feel this way, that I stay with the Lord, that I keep in step with the Spirit even in that. And that's something I'm just trying to practice. I'm trying to practice no matter how I feel, that I will that in however I feel, I'm still going to the Lord. Do you know what I mean? I'm not turning away from him. I'm not, maybe trying to use other things or to bypass the time or to fill the space or whatever it is, but that I'm actually going to him. And that's just something I'm trying to practice. So no matter how I feel or whatever may be happening, I know that I can still go to him. And because it's been quite busy for me in terms of just new elements in my life and just trying to find the rhythm of things, you know, when I'm not maybe praying as much as I would like to, or maybe studying as much as I like to, like, I can also sometimes put this unnecessary pressure on myself, and it's like, God, I feel like God sometimes is looking at me like, who told you that? I didn't ask that of you. Like, I did not ask that of you. And I'm having to just be like to myself, this is not something, why is it that you feel the need that you need to do this? Like, why is it that you're like, you feel, oh, I've got to study this amount and to, it's like, who are you trying to prove yourself to here? Is it the Lord or is it yourself? I was like, oh, okay, well then, you know. But those are the questions you have to ask yourself, because if something is reoccurring and is reoccurring in a way that is actually causing a distance between you and the Lord, then it's definitely something that needs attention and you need to interrogate. So it's just, I'm having to accept that this is where I am currently in this season, where it may not be that it's as studious as I would like for it to be. Is that a word? Studious? I think so. As I would like for it to be, or I'm not, you know, praying as long as I'd like to, but just going to him and giving him the time and the space and creating that environment, or creating that presence where he can actually dwell there. I think that's more important. You know, I think that allows me to actually keep in step with the Spirit. And yeah, I'm doing the Bible plan and I hadn't read it for, I don't know, maybe like 7 days or something. And again, when I get into that state, that numbness is just almost like I don't really want to do anything, or I feel so distant, or I don't know, it's just very weird. It's very weird. And, you know, I realized, like, when I just started reading again, because I have this, I kind of fixate on how I want to do something, and it's like, if that's my preferred choice, is like, it means that I have to do it like that every single time. And sometimes that's not necessarily the case. And God is definitely teaching me. It's like what I said in my other video, like, I can't remember if it was the one before this, but whereas like, just God is just asking us to just like roll with him, like just let's roll, just follow my lead. And, you know, because I have a particular way that I may want to do something, but sometimes God is just like, just read. You know, it's not always that I want, and it's not to say that don't study, of course study, but sometimes it's just a case of just read with me, like just sit here and read. And I just had to, in that moment whilst I was just reading it, you know, my spirit was being filled. So there is nothing that we do that is gonna, especially when we do it with a heart that wants to honor the Lord and wants to, you know, give him the glory and give him the praise, like he will correct us. You know, if it's a case where he's like, oh, I need you to, you know, this is not working this way, or whatever the case may be, it's like he is there ready to correct us if we need to be corrected. And he's also there wanting to just spend time with us, and that spending time with him doesn't need to be such a detailed plan, and, you know, your Bible and your notebook or your iPad or whatever it is, and your highlighters and all these things, or, you know, that it's a coffee shop set up or whatever it is. It might just be that when you're on your break, you lock yourself away in one of in the spare room or wherever it is, and you just give him that time, you know. And I think he requires intimacy, you know. He wants for us to have an intimate relationship where it's you're intentional about wanting to be there with him, you know, and not necessarily all of the other stuff. Not to say that those things aren't useful or aren't valuable. Yes, of course they are. But at the same time, he's just wanting us to be intentional with him. And that is going to look different in different seasons, because different seasons are going to require certain things from you. But even in that, it's a sense of just going back to him again, like, Lord, this is how I'm feeling, and just not allowing your mouth to be shut. That's one thing where the enemy will try to trick you into closing your mouth. And it's like, no, don't ever close your mouth. Always let the Lord know how exactly you're feeling, even if it's something that feels like, oh, I can't tell the Lord this, or I can't let those words leave my lips. But it's like, he already knows, so you might as well just tell him. So never keep your mouth shut. Always let what needs to come out, because then the enemy doesn't have anything to actually hold on. The enemy doesn't have anything that he can hold over you, because you've already released it to the Lord. So you're already free from it. Does that make sense? Like, you've already confessed it, but confessed it in a way that it's like you don't actually belong here. So you've actually vomited it out, if in a sense. And yeah, I just want to encourage us to acknowledge the Lord in everything that we do, so that we can keep in step with him. And, you know, I think it's is in Galatians, I believe Galatians 5, and the chapter kind of rounds off saying, as we are the Spirit, we should keep in step with the Spirit. And how we do that is by displaying the fruit of the Spirit. And we can only do that if we are in being intentional with the Lord. And the thing is, sometimes it may feel like we're not maybe even maturing or progressing, but other people will see it. You know, other people will see the fruit of the Spirit being displayed in you, and that display is the Lord. You know, when they see, oh, she should have actually went off on that one, that is the Lord. That's his glory. Oh, she handled that well, or she was able to that is the Lord. So us keeping in step with the Spirit allows God's glory to be shown. It allows the light that Christ talks about to be shone where it's supposed to be, you know. And we just have to, and it's difficult. It's difficult. And I think being able to say that, and even have the space to say that, I think is important, so that we're able to encourage one another. We're able to just say, like, hey, this is what's actually going on, or just to know that you're not the only one that also feels that way also. So don't be afraid to utter the words. You know, don't be afraid to say that this is how I'm feeling, Lord. And be encouraged to know that God cares about these things. You know, he cares when we feel distant from him. He cares when we're not in a state where we feel like we can give him our all. And sometimes he's just asking us to give us what we have in that moment. And I can't remember where it is. It's, I don't know what book it's in, but is it Gideon? I think it is Gideon, actually, when he says, just give me, he says, give me what you have, or something along those lines. You know, if you only have 5%, that's more than the person who has 100% and only gives 80. So if you only have 5% and that's all you can give, God is going to cherish that, because this is all I have, Lord. Like, this is all I have to give you, and he will cherish that. He really will, because it's all you have. So I'm learning more and more, because I have a tendency again to just feel like, one, I create unexpected, and I wouldn't say it's unexpected, but sometimes I can create unrealistic things, like unrealistic, what's the word that I'm looking for, like unrealistic task that can't be done in the environment that I'm actually in. And because of that, it actually makes me tired and it makes me frustrated, and they can feel like there's friction and all of these things, because one, God didn't actually ask me to do that, and then two, I'm trying to meet something that I physically can't. And it's not to say that God won't give me the provisions to do these things, but it's at the same time, he's not asking me to do these things. I'm just kind of creating these own things in my head. So it's like, by me keeping in step with him, I can actually hear what he's saying and actually follow with what he's saying and lean on him rather than myself, and know that I am strong through him and my strength comes from him, and that I don't need to be anxious for anything, and all of these things, that I'm able to do that when I just say that this is where I'm at. When, not even when I say that, but when I accept that. Okay, so when we actually accept that this is where I am, Lord, this is all that I have that I can give you. Help me to just even give this to you, or even to just be intentional with you with what I have right now. And he will more than one, appreciate that and just acknowledge that, but also cover you in a way that you need to be covered in the current season that you may be in. And I'm having to learn that. Having to learn that. And I think it also comes from a place where I feel like I'm letting God down by not reaching the expectations that I've actually set, rather than what he's requiring of me. And again, as I said, it can just feel very tiring. So yeah, I encourage us to keep in step with the Spirit, because we are of the Spirit, and he will do it. Like, as long as we have, I think it's Psalm 23 or 21, where it says, I commit my spirit into your hand, that you will deliver me, because you are a faithful God. So it's like, that's all I can do. All I can do is commit myself to you, continue to come to you, continue to tell you how I feel, continue to be vulnerable, and continue to know that he is my safe space. Like, the Lord is my safe space. And that's something that I've had to learn quite recently, and it's something I'm still learning, that the Lord is my safe space. I can be whatever I need to be in front of him. Like, he's created that space for me to do that. And yeah, so I just encourage you to know that the Lord, he is faithful. He truly is. He truly is. And keep in step with him, because he's worth it. He is worth it. So I hope, well, we're in October now. I hope you're having a great start to the month, and I shall see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.